Hi, welcome back for another episode in the ABC News, where today we are going to dive into a geopolitical issue based in the South China Sea. Being 5,000 kilometers away from Australia, the South China Sea, measuring 3.6 million square kilometers with a latitude and longitude of 15.4 degrees north and 144.4 degrees east, is bounded on the east by Taiwan and the Philippines, southeast and south by Borneo, and the east coast of the Malay Peninsula. Although this sea is bordered by several sovereign states surrounding it, there are heavy disputes that involve the jurisdiction and administration of both island and maritime features within the region, along with its exclusive economic zones. Since 2014, the Nine-Dash Line area is claimed by the People's Republic of China and has continued to assert claims over the internal waters and outlying archipelagos, which are not in accordance within the 1982 Law of the Sea Convention. Claimant states over the region are interested in retaining and acquiring the rights to fishing stocks, the exploration and exploitation of crude oil and natural gas in the seabed of several parts of the sea, in addition to the significant strategic control of important shipping lanes. This shows the economic importance of declaring these vast waters, as it provides large supplies of unrenewable resources and a crucial geographical location for transportation, including exportation and importation for goods. In 1982, the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea was adopted and signed, which formalized the extension of maritime resource claims in international law. No fewer than 6 governments had declared to dispute over the Paracel and Spratly Islands in the South China Sea. However, by the early 2000s, nations began to assert their militarization over the waters, seeking to secure the maritime resource zones. In 2009, Vietnam began reclaiming some of the 48 small islands it had occupied since the 1970s. China then made various reclamations over territories it had occupied in the 1980s. This eventually led to mid-ocean airfields and high military-grade artillery weapons being implanted into these islands, which resulted in China breaking its own pledge not to militarize the islands. The artificial islands host runways for bombers, missile batteries, and military radar. The aim is to project Chinese power deep into the South China Sea and beyond, and hold American power away during any conflict. In 2020, Chinese ships attacked and fired water cannons at Vietnamese vessels, which were trying to stop Beijing from putting an oil rig in the sea, which has led to a serious and dangerous escalation in tensions. In addition to these clashes, there are also multiple disputes that have occurred between the two nations. In 1988, the Vietnamese forces clashed once again with the Chinese navies over the disputed Spratly Islands, resulting in the death of 64 Vietnamese sailors. In addition to these rising conflicts, in 2014, the Philippines arrested 11 Chinese fishermen who were charged for catching endangered turtles, which resulted in frustration and anger from Beijing. China has recently continued to harass Vietnam and Philippine ships. An example of this is shown on the 1st of May 2014, where China implanted oil rigs with the addition of armed escort ships to assert its sovereignty over the sea. Even Hanoi has stated that they wanted a peaceful solution and have practiced extreme restraint to respond with self-defense in case needed. There has been a response from the Chinese foreign minister, who has stated that the oil rig was in China's territorial waters and therefore drilling is normal and legal. The Law of the Sea Convention also mandates that the land must be able to sustain human habitation, which was failed to meet in 2016. This resulted in a major blow to China's claims over the resource jurisdiction over the South China Sea. Apart from the rich resources of untapped oil and natural gas, which is one of the main reasons why China has swept and claimed sovereignty over these seas, there's also the fact that the sea accounts for at least a third of the global maritime trade, along with half of the world's vessels in the South China Sea, and millions of people depend on these waters for their livelihood. In summary, China will be trying to expand its control beyond its local borders and displacing the United States from further frustrating them. It was considered a historical victory when the Permanent Court of Arbitration Tribunal ruled in favor of the Philippines in challenging China's claims over the South China Sea. Vietnam and other claimant states haven't taken any formal legal action yet. However, according to a July 15 report, China continues to block Filipino fishermen from entering Scarborough Shoal, which lies within their exclusive economic zone. International communities like Japan, Australia, the EU, Vietnam, and the Philippines have been pushing China to make a final commitment to end this conflict. Analysts are turning to Asia to negotiate a code of conduct on the South China Sea issue. However, it does not have the means to meet such high expectations and is a much more fragile intergovernmental organization as opposed to the European Union. There isn't an outstanding leader that is capable of leading, gaining respect and submission from other member states that have social and cultural diversity, even though they are identical in economic development sectors. It is this issue that assisted China in dividing the Asian organization, which could explain its increasing aggression in the South China Sea. This is why it is counterproductive to force Asia to form a code of conduct and open talks with China. The disproportionate capacities between China and its surrounding neighbors makes China so confident that it keeps pushing its dominance over the waters, while the other regions are trying to ally with external powers or increasing their military budgets, which has limited their potentials for economic growth and development. The Philippines has made positive progress on this by inviting Chinese investors to the country. The solution to an asymmetric conflict should be dealt with by the smaller states recognizing its inferior position, while the bigger states show their willingness to talk after a big victory. Another solution is to be developing individually on their economies and trying to reduce their dependence on Chinese products and aids. However, all in all, there are several solutions to resolve this complex and tense issue in the South China Sea. Hopefully, China and its neighboring countries will be able to agree on common interests in the near future. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you soon.